How do you deal with an issue with no paperwork that's signed?
Well, you try and get to a point where, where like they've done enough research on their side. If it's the record label, which is what it was for this film that I'm just finishing up at the moment, where they're prepared to issue the license, but you also have the caveat of like if there's anyone that comes out of the woodworks, we've got to kind of keep a little bit aside just in case there's anything that comes back in contention of that being the case. Yes. But they're like that they've done enough. Essentially, you've got to push them to do enough research to go like, actually, no, we are happy to say that we feel confident enough that we will grant you the license. However,
Also, with a lot of what's been going on in terms of acquisitions, where catalogues have been bought up a lot.
Fun too.
Yeah,
but that
private investors now.
Yeah, so people end up with stuff within a big catalogue. They probably know the big bits, but there'll be lots of smaller tracks that get bought up, and those artists are never notified that their song used to be with such and such a label. They thought it had expired a long time ago, but it's actually still within the catalogue that's been bought up. Yeah. So then you're into where and who is this?
I've had that a fair bit.
And a lot of the time people own these things and have no idea what that bit is. Yeah,
it's bonkers.
And,
admin. Get good at your admin. Come on.
I think that's how we should start the podcast.
Yeah, it's all about admin, baby. Never mind the Benjamins.
It's all about the spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love a spreadsheet.
People think that supervision in the sync industry is really glamorous, but that this is like the true realities of it. I know.
It's glamorous, right? I mean, look at us.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. And it's very admin heavy. And very organizationally focused and like... strategic
work.
It totally is that. 100%. I think you have to be the kind of person that like embraces a challenge and uncertainty and gets a kick out of problem solving.
You love pressure and deadlines and sleepless nights. You thrive on it.
If you're a hoarder, you love pressure, then this is the industry for you.
This is the career.
And then, of course, having to have like, an ear and being able to like, decipher what's going to work musically, creatively, all the rest of it. So,
manage expectations.
Yeah. So like a people person that's also like a hoarder and like, spreadsheet nerd. And
But has a good set of ears.
Yeah. It has a good set of ears. Yeah.
Because... you need to have that radar of what's good, and I think the best supervisors have almost that sixth sense of knowing what is right for a scene and for a project.
Who are you most inspired by? Like which supervisor do you?
Well, I've mentioned my favourites already. Really, I mean, I do love Wes Anderson's Randall Poster. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think between Wes and I think Wes does most of it, but I think Wes is a great tastemaker for me personally. I think he's really, really good in what he always comes up with in his films. It's just always so unique to the project. So I think as a tastemaker personally, that's on a personal level. I really like that.
I've always really respected Sarah Bridge over here in the UK. I just think she does a phenomenal job of like, pulling things together like I'm picturing exactly the cover of it and it's not coming to mind. This beautiful film. I remember watching it the whole way through. It was the one about the artist who drew the cats. French artist is going to come to me. I'm going to boomerang. I'm going to release it.
I know the
pictures.
It's
going to come back. Yeah, exactly. You can picture it, can't you? Cumberbatch.
Got the cats.
Oh, it's really fun. It's going to come. It's going to come. Anyway, but watching that film all the way through, and I was like, oh, God, the soundtrack on this is just great. And then it was like looking at the credits like you always do, and you're on that side of things. And I was like,
we're probably the only one that do watch the credits.
Brilliant job. Just amazing. But other than that, I really like to just be surprised. Like, as much as there are a number of supervisors, I think, doing a standout job, I love being surprised and kind of like being open to whatever comes my way, so long as it's really, really working. Like there was it's called Stumptown, this series that was out that's kind of based on a graphic novel, and I like the commercial music that was used in that is absolutely brilliant, and the way that it's used, because basically she's got this car that doesn't work properly, and so as a part of the startup process, the radio like kicks in automatically, and you can't switch it off. And the tracks that come up in these pivotal moments, because she's a private investigator and stuff, are just absolutely hilarious, and I think does an amazing job. And you know, that's not a supervisor that I'd heard of before.
Right.
It's not even a name that I remember now, and I love when it's like, oh, that's so good, and then you look at the credits and you're like, didn't know that name. Wicked. You know, so those are sometimes my most favorite moments.
And it's when there is a scene that is just not an obvious song choice.
Yeah.
They do the opposite and they flip it on its head. That's what I love to see.
Same.
Yeah, that's the power of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That can really add to the scene.
Just when it's
just
done
those
really
juxtaposition things, and
Yeah.
where it's just unexpected. That's
So-
why you need to get heavy metal in there.
We're like advocates for like heavy metal today. So if you weren't like doing music, sync, agency or supervision, if you were doing anything but music, what do you reckon you'd be doing? Career-wise?
Weatherman.
Really? I love that. Why?
I just
That's
I like
such a good
listening to the fishing forecast. Find it very relaxing.
Fishing. Did you just say the fishing forecast?
Yeah, check it out.
Just wanted to make sure that I was hearing you accurately.
It's very, very relaxing.
Wow.
It's
Never mind sleep
You know
app,
you're probably
just
going to get
listen
loads
to
of
that.
emails now of people wanting to
Wow,
reach
that's
out to you,
amazing.
and they're going to start with that.
Yeah.
Fishing.
So if there's any,
They've made it this
weathermen
far, good for
needed
them.
or
Really?
people,
Yeah.
weather people needed, then I could be a weather person.
Oh.
I think so. Well, how about you, Liz?
I already have a second
Side
string to my bow. I love side hustle as a word, and I kind of hate it at the same time, because it feels like I'm kind of like, I don't know, I always imagine myself with like a trench coat with like watches and something when it's like side
Del
hustle.
boy.
I don't know why. It's just like the image that comes to mind just feels all a bit wheeler dealer.
Want to buy a watch?
Yeah, exactly. Never mind music. Headphones, anyone? No. But a trained life coach. I'm certified as a Big Leap coach, and I specialize in working with artists, musicians, and people in creative industries, because it's what I've been in
Nice.
since I was
Yeah.
like
Well needed,
little.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and so I work a lot with Help Musicians UK as a mentor. So work with them as a charity as well as like individual clients, and looking to
So what kind of things do you cover in that?
so it's everything from kind of like limiting beliefs to kind of like the way that you talk to yourself, your inner dialogue, how to manage and deal with conflict, how to balance like, you know, life when you're out on the road and in studios and trying to like have some semblance of a normal life. You know, how to nurture relationships when it's so often that artists feel like they're not understood even by their most loved people in their life, because they don't really get how the ecosystem of their world works. You know, how to like be authentic about what it is that you need to say and ask for what you need and drill into all of that. Essentially, it's in lining with like full integrity and being able to express it, maintain it, and work with that so that you're in like a place of your most grounded, fully plugged in self is
I
probably
think
the
we
best
could all
way
do
to
with a bit of
describe
that.
it. Well, you know where to find me.
So for me, I think I would still be doing business of some sort, because I love, aside from music, just the business aspect of it, like entrepreneurial stuff. Like this is my third business. I went straight self-employed straight out of music school. I just couldn't work for anyone else. I just kept getting fired. Honestly, I had all these like waitressing jobs, and I probably had every single job. I could write a whole book on all the jobs that I've had, but I was just no good. I know I wasn't very good at taking direction from the powers that be. But then once I found my own lane in my own business, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like probably maybe in more a leadership business role. But I think I would maybe either invest in other businesses, but have a bit more of a backseat, which is something I think I might look at eventually anyway, or work with animals.
I was going to say, your love of ponies.
Yeah, and
Something to
horses,
do with
horses and ponies, but yeah, I love animals.
ponies.
I do, and sometimes I prefer animals to humans.
I get you.
Yeah, and for me, it's just like really, really grounding. So when like I'm not working, I will be out in nature or just riding my pony, just hanging with animals. So I'd probably be doing something like that, but more like rescue, working with rescue animals or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
You could tie that in because you can get horses to calm people down. Is that correct? I think
The calm horses would calm people down. Yeah, trust me.
The traumatized ones, maybe not so much.
Or you could become a horse whisperer. That's got to be
the other thing that's really interesting. So I also trained as a sound therapist. So like crystal bowls, gongs, Himalayan bowls, all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of research behind like rehabilitating animals through the use of therapeutic instruments that aren't necessarily musical, because it's actually the fact that it's not, whilst they have like a tone, it tends to be multiple different tonalities, and the way that they all work together kind of has a specific affect on certain aspects of our emotional and psychological worlds.
I bought
There you go. You could didgeridoo horses. So there's actually, honestly, if you Google it, there's a person that actually does that. They like do healing on horses using a didgeridoo.
Really? No way.
It's a whole thing.
Wow.
Are they in the UK?
I don't remember, but I feel like look it up. It's quite something. And watching the horse's reaction to having this, because it's the vibration of the sound specifically. You know, like. It's actually really beautiful. It's a bit tear-jerky. Cool. Just be mindful, but make sure you've got a tissue when you watch it. Yeah,
that's very
Liz,
cool.
I bought myself a harmonium.
Oh, I love that.
And again, it's all about the vibration.
Yeah.
It's just there's something in that instrument which gets you right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've got some tuning. I've got some forks as well.
Oh, they're really cool to play with as well. Apparently, I need to learn a little bit more. I didn't go into the specifics of tuning forks, but I really want to play around with them more, because especially like having a really good ear is so helpful with that. Because apparently as you kind of like go over certain parts of the body, you can hear the frequency go out,
Wow.
which I haven't tested out as much as I want to. So I'll report back.
Yes. No, it's definitely worth looking into. I love that.
Very cool.
That is cool. So I think we'll wrap it up there. We've covered a lot of things, haven't we?
Yes.
A lot of things.
Didgeridoos.
Yeah. Yeah. Singing
Jails
animals.
with
Jail.
you know.
Yeah, we've covered it all today. But thank you so much for giving up your time and
Thanks for having us.
a chat
Thank you
with
for
me.
having us,
It's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it.
It's great to
I've
meet
learned a
Liz
lot
and-
as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
I've learned a ton.
Yeah.
So
No,
educational as well.
Educational and fun. It's the winning combination, people.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Cool.
Amelia. Thanks for having us.